What's going on, guys? My name is James.
I'm Tony.
We're YouTube creatives.
5 amazing features packed into cameras for under 800 bucks. Up next. Alright, so as we've been accumulating gear over the past couple years, James and I sat around and we thought, you know, if we're going to start out right now and we need to purchase a camera, what were the 5 top things that we would insist that the camera have, or at least we'd definitely be looking in depending on your budget. James, tell me what your first one is, man.
My first feature under $800. It's going to be focus peaking. It has that really nice red line on everything you're focusing on. It makes it super easy, super quick, especially if you use manual focus like I do.
Now, does this work with photos and video?
It works on photos and video, but you have to be in manual focus mode for it to happen. Anyway, focus peaking, an amazing feature. Real quick, guys, if you guys are enjoying the video so far, please leave us a like and a comment and even share the video, and it will help us get more videos out for you guys like this. So anyway, back to the video. Tony, what's your next feature?
I would say eye detection. I just rediscovered this in my camera. I knew it had it when I first got the camera. I loved the feature. I played with it for just a little bit and then quickly forgot about it. So when I rediscovered it, man, I just found a love for it. I actually keyed in one of the buttons on the back of the camera, and yeah, you just hit the button, boom, it picks up the eye detection real quick. You take some pictures, especially if you're doing multiple shots. Pop, 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 pop. You go back and review those. It's just, there's no way you're gonna pull focus that fast and that accurate without it. It's just this amazing feature. I love it.
Actually, I just recently started using eye autofocus because most of the time I do use manual focus. However, I just recently picked up a nice lens that's really good for portraits, and that is the Canon 24-105, the L series lens. It is amazing because the autofocus is so quick.
Oh, you got that lens because I own one too, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good lens. It's a great lens.
Awesome lens.
Yeah, the autofocus on it is so quick. So pairing that with the eye autofocus that comes in the camera, if you're doing portraits, it's so snappy. It's focusing exactly where you want it to be, which when it comes to portraits is the eyes.
You know if the Sony A6300 has it?
I'm a Canon crusader. I don't know anything about Sony.
All right, so what would be the next feature you'd like to have in a camera?
The next feature would have to be probably in-body camera stabilization. Now I know a lot of lenses have image stabilization, but it's nice to have it in your camera just because it gives it that little bit of extra oomph.
So does this camera also offer that feature?
Yes, it does. All under $700.
Really? That's pretty impressive, Canon. I still think the Sony takes it though. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
This camera does have image stabilization. It's super important because if you guys are doing any kind of video work handheld, you don't want to have those shaky shots unless that's what you're going for, of course.
Can you actually turn it on and off?
You can turn off your image stabilization. The M50 actually has a digital image stabilization system rather than your classic image stabilization.
Yeah, I know my A6500 has, I think it's like a 5-point axis stabilization. So that's it falls outside of the price range that we're talking about. And the A6300 does not offer that feature. So,
all right, so moving past image stabilization,
this would probably be my #1 feature, and that's 120 frames per second. Because I love doing slow motion, love doing it with the kids. Any type of project I'm working on, I love slipping in the slow motion in there, and at 120 frames per second is just buttery smooth. I just love the way it looks. It's got a great flow to it. The fact that you can speed ramp up and down, you know, you can do some killer transitions with it, but the 120 frames per second is just a must-have for me. Once you use it, you cannot go back.
What's the price range that you can find an A6300 in?
You can find it right at 800 bucks right now.
Oh, very nice, very nice. The Canon M50 that I have also has 120 FPS, although it is only 720p. Now, one thing to make sure you guys look out for is the actual quality you're shooting at with 120 frames. For an example, the A6300 can shoot 1080p at 120 frames per second. However, the Canon M50 can only shoot 120 frames per second at 720p. Moving on to feature number 5, and probably the most important.
Arguably.
4K footage.
That's pretty important. There's just so much you can do with it. Even if you're not rendering out your videos in 4K, you're doing 1080, you're just so much video to play with. You can take your shot, you can recompose it, you have so much image that you can shift around. I mean, you can do pans, you can do dolly ins and outs. Like I said, just being able to actually recompose your shot and not lose any image quality, that's an amazing thing.
I wholeheartedly believe that this is the most important feature. And 4K footage is pretty much almost becoming standard nowadays.
But people are still uploading in 1080. Not
Yes.
everybody's still uploading, just because a lot of people, I feel, at this point, still aren't watching the video in 4K. In fact, they think they're watching in 1080 a lot of times, and they're actually not. It's streaming to them at 720,
Right,
or
but
even lower.
Right, but for a video maker having 4K is so important because it gives you that option. And not to mention, even if you're uploading at 1080, you have so much video footage to work with. You have so much data there.
Speaking of that data, though, that's one thing that you need to be aware of. If you're gonna shoot 4K, you've got to have a hardy computer, man. It's got to be able to process that. The original computer that I had would not process. It wouldn't even play back the 4K. So I actually had to go out and bought a new Mac to actually do that.
Pretty much what we're saying is the money you guys save on your camera, go spend it on a computer.
If I were gonna buy a camera for under 800 bucks, those are definitely 5 features I'd be looking into. If you have to miss out on 1 or 2 of them, pick what's important to you. Some are geared more towards video, some photos. But overall, they're just awesome, amazing features that you can literally get in a camera for under 800 bucks. It's just a steal.
If you guys are looking into any of these features and want to get a camera that has any of them, we'll link ours in the description down below. Like I said before, mine is the Canon M50.
And mine would be the A6300 at that price range.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment down below telling us what your thoughts were. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification to stay up to date with us every single week, and assault that like button. It helps us out tremendously, guys. Don't forget to share the video as well. That's gonna wrap it up. My name is James.
I'm Tony. Do us a favor and watch one of these 2 videos right here. We'd appreciate it.
We're YouTube creatives.
We're out of here.
Are we going home yet?
Let's go. That's not what are you doing?
Hello.
Are you sticking your boogies in the camera, man?
No.
Ew.